Oh, there we go.
You won't hear him at first when it goes to the thing.
It switched off. So
when don't worry about that. That's when the stream kicks in, and then once it goes on live, then you'll be able to hear me again.
Oh, there we go. That's my call.
Hey, welcome back to another season of Bluejay Banter. We are live here at the Let It Fly Sports Bar in downtown Omaha. Thanks for joining us. Make sure you hit that subscribe and like button. We've been away for a while, so we may have some new viewers, so make sure you hit that. And today, hey, we're in the middle of the summer. It's open week. We thought, why not bring one of the most successful golfers in Creighton history aboard, Mr. Shaun Campbell. Shaun, thanks for being here, man.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
All right. So for those you don't know, Shaun was first team All-Big East last year. He's a senior at Creighton. He is now transitioning to a pro golf career, so we're going to talk to him a wide range of subjects. But first of all, you went to Kansas first. How did you get there?
It was kind of a bit of a...
Because you're from New Zealand, should point out.
Right, yeah, from New Zealand. I always kind of wanted to come over here from a fairly young age, I would say. I just, the PGA Tour is obviously the main attraction for that. So growing up, that was, where I wanted to play. So how do we get there? We go to, college golf. My sister was very good. She played at Iowa State.
Oh, okay. They got they have a great practice.
Their facility's fantastic out there. I just saw one of their players today, Luke Kucheski. He was out. Oh. He was out where I was today. So
you have a little history with Luke here recently. He won. He got the
he got the spot out at
Corn Ferry too.
Beatrice a couple weeks ago. So no, he's playing great. But yeah, my sister had some friends that went to Washington over there in Seattle, and they won the national championship. Probably when I was a sophomore in high school.
Okay.
And then my sister was going over there, so how do we get myself over there? So just whatever she was trying to do, I was doing. Lucky enough, I had a couple of guys that pretty close to my hometown. They were at Kansas already, and just sent a bunch of emails out. And Harry Hillier, we had a pretty heated rivalry growing up through junior golf, and the more time I've spent with him and his brother, we've just become pretty good friends. So that's how I ended up at Kansas, and then it just wasn't quite working out. Played a little bit my freshman year as an individual, which is fine. We're a top 50 program consistently, and that's kind of where you want to be in regional contention as an auto bid. And then sophomore year didn't pan out how I wanted to. COVID hit. I took a gap year and then came back to Kansas, and it just didn't work again. So jumped in the portal. Coach Burnwell down there was fantastic with me, and unselfishly let me go, and ended up here with Judd Cornell, who was the coach at the time.
I've taken lessons from Judd. I still use some of the drills and swing thoughts that he gave me.
I saw him today too. He texted me the other day out of the blue, and he's a great guy, and
great teacher.
Right, just really privileged to have him call me. He was the first one to call, and ended up coming to Creighton and loving it on the visit. The guys were great, and
the rest is history.
The rest is history, and I think it turned out pretty good.
Yeah, it sure did. It sure did. What's it like playing in the Big East? Like, obviously, I mean, just like baseball, weather's probably the biggest thing to overcome, right?
Yeah. Golf's a little bit different because obviously, you can't really play inside at all. We are lucky enough where we can travel to a lot of places, so
sure.
the fall's okay. We can play some fall. Well, we can play most of our fall events within a driving distance, which is fine. So like Colorado, sometimes we'll go up a little north, so like South Dakota.
Sure.
I know they have some
we have beautiful falls here.
Oh my God, fall's fantastic. It's so good. And then even up to like. There are some events up in Wisconsin and kind of over that way, so you can get away with it in the fall. The winters suck. I was home this year for winter break, and it was like 80, 85 at home, and got back here and it was negative 40. So
now it's probably changed a little bit now with the advent of simulators. Like, I've got a good friend who's got a simulator in his house, and they're just all over now, where at one time they weren't. Now it's pretty easy to go find a simulator to keep your game going.
No, simulators are kind of where it's at for now.
When you can't travel to play.
Right. Creighton being a smaller school, we still don't have the facilities that we need to, be really competitive. Like, we're competitive as we are in the Big East, but to get to that next level and to get to postseason for, as long as the Creighton golf program's going, getting that facility sorted, which is in the works now, which is great, and that's just going to keep Creighton golf, moving from strength to strength, which is, where it should be.
Well, you came at a great time because the program never really got going, and I always thought, well, Creighton's a really expensive school to go to, and usually kids with a lot of money belong to country clubs and play golf and so forth. But when you came aboard, when Judd came aboard, really took that program to a new level, and it stayed there now. You guys are extremely competitive. A lot of records set by you and your teammates over the last year or two.
Right. Judd was kind of the he was the start of it. I want to say, the start of when Creighton golf got really serious. Nate Vance was on the team, and he got better and better as his career went on and just kept improving. And I've seen him a couple of times playing events out there this summer, and he's been fantastic.
He's now, for people that don't know, he's on the Americas Tour. I think we mentioned this a few weeks ago. He got on the Americas Tour, went through the qualifying that you did as well, and he was medalist at one of the sites. So he's gotten on. I've been watching him. He hasn't made a cut yet, but he improved a lot last week. He was right there.
Right, it's hard out there. I think the cut this week was like -8. It's just like the level of golf that, over the past. I mean, ever since I've been in college, my first year was 2018. I came in as a freshman, and the level of talent has just improved so much. Which is great for the game.
Sure.
The game's just growing and growing, and trying to get a tee time in Omaha, it's almost impossible, which is fantastic. It's a good problem to have.
You should be able to get on at Players anytime.
Right.
All you got to do is text me. Let's go.
I started working out there now, so it's.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
James Rawls gave me a job, so I needed one.
James is a smart man.
James
gave you a
is a very
job.
Smart man.
He said if Shaun's gonna be out here on the putting green 3 hours on the chipping green, he might as well work out here.
Right. Go put a bed in the back room out there. So no. I've been looking at the tee sheet. Some people don't really like it when it's 105 out to play golf, which is not a surprise. So yesterday and today the place is closed, but getting tee times are still pretty difficult. So
yeah, I had one at actually 105 when I was living in Wyoming. I had one of my best rounds ever when it was 105. I mean, it's just. I like it hot. I like it. I like to play in the heat.
I checked the heat index today. It was 107.
Yeah, it was crazy.
That was pretty warm. So
crazy. So we're talking with Shaun Campbell, Creighton golfer who just graduated and now is on his way to a pro tour. You just mentioned something about how difficult it is, and I think maybe the average player or the average golf fan who's a golfer turns on the TV on Sunday and sees these guys, and then goes to his local club and plays, and goes, "Well, gee, Joe over here is a scratch. Why doesn't he play on the pro tour?" I mean, you have no idea just coming from, and you can speak to this, from college to now trying to get, say, on the Americas Tour, which is a stepping stone to get on the Corn Ferry, which is a stepping stone to get on the PGA Tour. I mean, those are all huge leaps.
Right. Yeah, there was definitely a massive step up, or not. I don't want to say a massive step up from college to, America's Tour Q School, where I was at. But it was definitely a step up. You could tell the guys there were there to do a job. The driving range looked different. The morning of the practice round, the putting green looked different. Guys are out there doing drills, but it's their job.
Mm-hmm.
They're there to do a job. They're there to practice. They're there to hit balls. They're there to take it seriously, which is, I think, I wasn't really surprised, but just to see it was really good. And it kind of got me to, okay, I need to be practicing with a bit more of a purpose. Not like I wasn't practicing well before, but it just it's just getting me a little bit more dialed.
Well, I've seen you practice at Players, and we mentioned to you, Kelly and I were talking to you, and you're like, you were on the putting green, then we got done, and then you were on the chipping green. This is 4 hours later, and you're like, look, this is my job. Just like you'd go to work 9 to 5, this is my job now. And so did that help you realize I really have to put in more work?
Yeah.
You already probably knew that, but
I knew I had to put in more work, just like, school's not a distraction anymore.
Right.
But it's just getting out there and doing it. I feel like I've got a little bit more time now, so I can actually be a little bit more specific about what I'm doing. So when I'm on the putting green, I'm probably really hitting the same putt for about an hour, or same sort of putts for about an hour, and then I'll move on to something else for another hour. Time actually goes pretty fast when you're
focused.
When you're focused and you know what you're doing, and you have certain drills that you can go and complete. That makes it a lot easier. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, hey, that's 2.5 hours. It's a pretty good session. So trying to do that every day, it's pretty important. And
you got to be disciplined.
You do have to be disciplined. And you got to be disciplined to do the right things out there. There's no point in just going out there and bashing balls for 3 hours. You got to be doing something with it. And that's just the main takeaway, and from what I saw at Q School.
Now, you said something interesting to me one day, and that was, you spent, like I think it was 3 hours on the putting green, then you spent like 3 hours on the chipping green, and we got done playing, and we were kind of joking around. You said, well, you need to be right here.
Right.
Because did you notice, like, okay, everybody has a decent swing.
Right.
Everybody can hit the ball 300. Everybody has a relative proficiency with their irons. But, man, if you miss a green or have a 40-foot putt, you've got to get that up and down.
Right, yeah. I mean, you just got to be so clean. There's not much room for error out there, really. Your short game's your defense. You're trying to attack the course as much as you can. We kind of do a lot of, I play pretty conservatively, but you got to swing aggressively at those targets. You have to swing aggressively, otherwise it just doesn't work. But then when something does go awry, it's like, okay, back to the defense. Let's chip this close and knuckle down for a 6, 7, 8 footer. But that's what you practice. Golf now, the level I'm trying to get to is basically a putting contest.
Yeah.
So it's
that's interesting you said that, because back in the day I was at a golf tournament. Well, it was actually a U.S. Open, and Fred Couples back in his prime, and I was standing next to the tee, and he was talking to somebody. And he just goes, "Look, it's just a putting contest."
Right. Yeah.
Whoever putts well this week, because we all ball strike pretty well. Whoever putts well is probably going to be up near the top of the leaderboard.
Yeah. I mean, if you notice on tour, it's like, yeah, you'll see the odd highlight of some guy stuffing one from the, on a par 3 or hitting a cool wedge shot with a bit of backspin. But the highlights you really want to see are the guys making all the putts.
Like Robert McIntyre this weekend.
Robert McIntyre was a perfect example. Makes a 20-footer on the last to win his National Open, which is probably will be the greatest achievement of his career. Unless he goes on to win about 6 majors.
He goes on to win this week.
Yeah, if he goes on to win this week, that'll be probably even more special, winning an Open in Scotland. But, these guys that are winning, they're putting the lights out. I think the average feet of putts hold for a winner each week, I think it's about 150, which is a lot.
Right.
Like, that's a lot.
Right.
That's per round. But that's a lot of putts hold.
Would you agree with this statement? Really good friend of mine's a scratch, and he was telling me, he goes, I think the average golfer, probably expects too much out of their putting sometimes, and puts too much pressure on them, because, he would rattle off stats like, well, 8-footers, pros only make those 25% of the time.
Yeah.
And you're out there thinking you should make every one.
Right. No, that's exactly right. I mean, I think Bryson, when he was on the PJ Tour, I think he was 50% from 10 feet, and that was the best by a mile. Tour average is about 50% from or 8 feet, if not just a little bit closer. So, I mean, that's not very far.
Yeah,
So, like, where are your expectations at? What are we trying to do? And then you're kind of just working off percentages, right? How can I pick up a little percent here? How can I pick up a little percent here? So it's like, you don't really lose much or gain much from tee to green, but on the green, missing a 5-6 footer, you're losing over half a stroke.
Yeah, right.
Just like that.
Yep.
And you have to go and make a couple of 20-footers to make that up. So that's where it all is. It's on the greens. It's inside 12 feet, and speed putting too.
When you've been, going to some of these events, whether it be trying out for the Korn Ferry Tour here or some of these America Tours qualifyings, when you walked away from there, what was the one thing you saw that you said, okay, I've got to get better at X?
So I kind of already knew what my strengths and weaknesses were. Like my ball striking is pretty efficient. My off the tee needs a little bit of work, and me and my coach have been working pretty hard on that. He's back in New Zealand, so we're doing like FaceTime calls.
Sure.
I'll go down to Net Par down there because I got TrackMan, and we'll go on there and just over a video call we'll try and fix things, and it's tough, but we make it pretty. We use what we have, and I really trust him. I really trust the plan, and then just trying to get my putting better. That's where it is. That's where the game is right there. So, since probably the start of the summer, I've been working pretty hard on that. It's been probably 12 hours a week, just putting, and I've been noticing my stats have been getting better and better and reflecting that. So that's a nice. Really good positive. So.
So what does the rest of the summer hold for you? Like, we talked about you possibly getting into some of these events, Americas or Korn Ferry or whatever. Where does that sit?
So right now, on Wednesday, I'm leaving for the Waterloo Open, and then I have Cedar Rapids following that up, and then I entered the Monday qualifier for the Pinnacle Bank Championship.
Oh, okay.
That's coming up.
The Monday one, okay.
The Monday one, so I'm going to go down to Highlands and do that. I just got a sign for that today. And then, unless we get a sponsor's invite, into that. So I don't know how that works, but that's up to them. They
you
can
need to know somebody.
Yeah, I need to know a couple of people. Yeah, we'll see how that all works. But I'd love to play in Omaha. It'd be fantastic.
Where does that fit on the schedule now? Because it used to just be a regular event, and then it was the last event for a while.
Yeah. So I didn't really know about it because back when I'm a freshman, sophomore in college, and I wasn't even in Omaha. I didn't even know that there was a Corn Ferry event up here. And then I played in the Indian Creek Invite the first summer I was here, and didn't really play well in the first round.
That's a tough golf course, man.
It's so good. It's so good. All the pros rave about it when they come here. It's always in great shape. I shot 74 on the first round, and I wasn't that happy with it. And then called my parents, and they're like, "Oh, you should probably look for jobs, whatnot." And then came out the next day and shot 3 under and about 20 miles an hour wind, and ended up winning that. But of course, that's when it was the final event for the season. There was no invite then. And last year they conveniently bought back the invite. So
nice.
Which is fantastic because it gives a Nebraska guy a chance to play in front of the home crowd. Even though I'm not from Nebraska, it'd still be really cool to represent Creighton.
Sure, absolutely.
Represent Omaha to play in that event. So we'll see where that ends up. But
and then when we get into the fall, do you start going into like some qualifying for some?
Yeah, so the fall hole, I've got an APT event, so an All Pro Tour that was the Adams Tour back in the day, and then the Nebraska Open, and then I've got to go to pre-qualifying, which is down in Sand Creek Station.
Okay.
That's Newton, Kansas.
Okay.
So that's 3 rounds, and then you get through that first stage, second stage, and then final stage.
Okay. Now in New Zealand, I've never been there. I've always wanted to go though.
You should go.
Yeah. Do you have with the Open? I'm thinking along the Open coming up. Do you have any? I mean, most of the courses I've seen there somewhat resemble U.S. courses for the most part. I mean, do you have any like links style?
Yeah, there's one that sticks out like a sore thumb. It's Pata Umu Beach. It is fantastic. It is probably it is my favorite course at home, and it's not really close. That's where Tiger Woods played the New Zealand Open down there.
Okay.
One of my buddies was the greenkeeper out there for about 4 years. Then he went over to Scotland. England. Now he's back in New Zealand looking after another links golf course called Muriwai, which is just north of Auckland or west of Auckland. But Patapata Beach, it's about an hour north of Wellington, and it is fantastic. I think it's bent grass fairways, proper link style. We had our interprovincial, which is interstate. We have provinces in New Zealand. So we had that down there last year, and I had to figure out a way to get down there just to play that golf course, and it's really good. That's all you want in a golf course. The wind switches, and one day the hole was about 380, and I was hitting it up there by the green. The next day I had a 7-iron into the hole. Probably the best set of par 3s in New Zealand too.
Yeah.
It's just
wow.
And you can go down there and play it for about $60.
Oh wow!
So if there's one course I recommend, it would be that one.
Wow.
It's kind of a hidden gem, but not really.
Yeah. Right.
It's kind of just in a small town, and it's really good.
Yeah. Besides Indian Creek, what's your favorite course around here?
Omaha, OCC is really good.
Great condition.
It's always in pretty good shape. It's hard around the greens are hard. It's not so bad off the tee box. There's not too much around there. It's definitely a second shot course. Putting it in the right spot around the greens, that's massive. And then good luck on the greens.
Yeah. Especially get beyond the hole.
Yeah, good luck. But Nebraska, really, we're blessed with so many great golf courses. It's very underrated.
Have you played Arbor Links?
Played Arbor Links. It's fantastic down there.
It's a great golf course.
Yeah, good golf course. They look after you well down there too.
What did you think of Lost Rail? You went and played there today.
Yeah, Lost Rail is getting better and better. What is it? 2 years old now.
2 years, yeah.
And every time I go back, it's just better and better and better and better. So that place is really good. Just kind of classic American style links, which is getting more and more common these days. They're still tweaking bits here and there because, just after a few years of a couple of years having a golf course and, they get feedback and they play it more and more and more. You kind of just see what you need to change and what you don't, and just how the lay of the land works and how things settle. It's really getting good.
Yeah. Well, Shaun, it's been a pleasure being here. Thank you so much for coming. I really, really appreciate it. It was a great conversation, and best of luck the rest of the summer.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
All right, I want to thank Shaun Campbell, and now we want to thank our sponsor, Infusion Brewing Company, right here in Omaha. They've been a sponsor of Bluejay Banter and are also a sponsor of the Bluejay Banter Golf Tournament, which we'll have coming up here in a couple weeks. So check out Infusion. You'll see the logo up on the screen. They've got some great product, 2 great locations, one over in the Benson area and one down at Papillion, where their tasting room is. Last time I was down there, Ryan, the head of Infusion, gave me some pickle beer, and it was phenomenal. I can't wait to get down there and get some more. So check it out. Also, Equitable Bank. And back to Infusion in a second. So check them out. They've got, like I said, they got 2 great locations. You also want to check out the Crescent Moon restaurant, where they have a lot of the Infusion products. And Equitable Bank, we take banking personally. The Bank of Bluejay Banter, another great sponsor, also a sponsor of the Bluejay Banter Golf Tournament. They've got 2 great locations. One just north of the Schwab headquarters, and then one out in Elkhorn, a new cafe style. I think you'll really enjoy the banking, and the service is unbelievable. So check them out today if you're looking for a new bank. You want to go to Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. And we want to thank Shaun Campbell very much for joining us right here on Bluejay Banter as we kick off another season of Bluejay Banter. By the way, some people probably wondering where Ross is. Ross is in Vegas. He's at Summer League. I saw a picture on Twitter. He was with Coach Mack, Trey Alexander, Baylor Sharman, Grant Gibbs, Sam Froling, player from a few years ago from Australia. So it was great to see Ross hanging out with the crew down in Vegas, checking out some Summer League. What we thought we'd do for the rest of the show here is just kind of go over all the things that have gone on since we last talked to you. So first of all, we mentioned Trey. Trey and Baylor both playing in the Summer League right now. As you know, Baylor got drafted by the Celtics, the final pick of the first round. Everybody very high on what he might be able to do with the Celtics going forward. So we're excited to have Baylor, and then Trey's with Denver. So I think you can catch most of these Summer League games are on the NBA Network, and they're also on ESPN right now. I think we have Miami and Oklahoma City playing. Not a lot of sports today. Today's probably one of the slowest sports days of the year. So we've got some NBA Summer League live on ESPN. And then, of course, summer workouts have started. Now, I know things have changed over the years with the way the workouts go, but they get to spend X amount of hours with the players through different sections of the summer. So they had a session that went through June. Then everybody went home over the 4th, took some time off. They've all come back into town now, and I'll be here until the I think the first weekend of August, and then they'll send them all home for about 2-3 weeks until school starts. They have different sessions of individual work, how much time they can do individually, and then how much time team. So some reports from that. Pop Isaacs, the transfer from Texas Tech, he's had to sit out. He had some surgery done to get ready for the season, so he's sitting out. Our 3 freshmen are here. They're all obviously, as freshmen go, doing really well some days. Some days, you're taking in water from a fire hose. So it's a lot of information, especially with some of the sets and so forth that we run at Creighton. So things looking very, very good there, though. A little bit of down news. Mason Miller had a fracture of his a non-weight bearing bone in his leg. He was expected to be out quite a bit of time, maybe way into the first part of October. I think they've moved that up a little bit. He's probably not going to be out as long as we thought, but that's good news. But on the other hand, it gives other guys a chance, like Isaac Trout, Jason Green, and obviously the freshman Jackson McAndrews. Also, the schedule was released. So not the Big East schedule, just the non-conference. So we've got, just to run it down for you, in November on the 6th, we play University of Texas, Rio Grande Valley. Then we play Fairleigh Dickinson on the 10th. Then Houston Christian on the 13th. And then a Saturday game against Kansas City, UMKC, Kansas City, whatever you want to call them. So that's kind of the 4 bye games for the Jays. Then on the 22nd, it's a Friday night. You've probably seen this many times. Nebraska comes to town to play at CHI on November 22nd. Then the team heads to Vegas for the Players Era Festival. This is the tournament Ross and I have talked about. It's an NIL-driven tournament. Teams, I think, get up to $3 million for NIL or $1 million. And at any rate, tremendous field. And these fields are only going to grow through the years, and Creighton signed up for 3 years. So we're in a great spot to have great games every year. And as luck would have it, we end up with the Oregon Ducks in the first game. We just can't seem to escape them, whether it's a tournament, an MTE, or an NCAA tournament. The Jays will be taking on the Ducks in the very first game, and that's on a Tuesday. They're going to play Tuesday, Wednesday, take Thanksgiving off, and play Friday. So if you're planning a trip to go down and see them, that's kind of the schedule of games. So then after that, a game we've been waiting for quite some time, Kansas comes to town, the last go-round of the Big East Big 12 showdown. So Kansas will come to town on December 4th. I think it's a Wednesday. I can't imagine what this place will be like with the Jayhawks coming into town. Then that Saturday, we play UNLV, which is kind of a return game from last year when we went and played a neutral site game in Vegas. And then the following Saturday, we do the home and home. We return the trip home and home to Alabama. So at Alabama. So how great is that? That'd be a great road trip to go see. And that's pretty much going to be the non-conference schedule. Then we'll morph right into Big East play that following week. We just have a couple games before Christmas, some games in between Christmas and New Year's, and then we're off on the regular 2 games a week kind of schedule in the Big East, so forth. We have the Olympics coming up. They're ready to kick off here in another week or so. And the Jays actually have 2 Olympians, Duncan McGuire on the soccer team. And Taryn Cloth, we've talked about her before. Her and her partner are number 2 in the world in sand volleyball. And they just won a tournament here about a week or so ago. So they will be playing in the Olympics, a lot of their games. Rob Anderson put out a great tweet the other day setting up some times, the initial times of some of the early games. And I know one that stuck out to me was Taryn and her partner will be playing 3 o'clock on Saturday the 27th. So check that out. Well, Coach Booth got the much needed and much deserved extension to her contract. So we're really happy for her. What a job she's done building this volleyball program. She's had other offers. She could have gone other places, but she's just been so steady. And I know Coach Mack a lot of times talks about how much he takes from her as far as process. She's so process driven. You know, it's not always win or lose. It's the process of, you know, and you continue that process and you're eventually going to get better and better and better. And she's never shied away from playing a difficult non-conference schedule. And obviously we're just the dominant team in the Big East in volleyball. And you know, probably a consistent top 15, 20 team in volleyball in the country. So congratulations to her. Then also we had the Championship Center renamed the McDermott Center after Greg McDermott and his family. It's called McDermott Center. I was down there. Ross was down there as well for the ceremony and the opening of it and the renaming of it. Quite an event. A lot of quote unquote Creighton celebrities there, and Doug McDermott was there. Doug and Nick both were there. So it was great catching up with both of them. Talked with Doug for a while on everything that went on this season, and looking forward to next year. And Nick, of course, is a caddy for Nate Lashley on the PGA Tour, and he's had some good tournaments here lately. So Nick's been helping him out and getting him cash. So it's now the McDermott Center. Just a great honor for Coach McDermott and the whole family. And Doug joked, well, it's got Dad's name on it now. I guess he thinks he can practice as long as he wants. Poor guys. I feel sorry for him. So now, I mentioned it briefly earlier, and I want to talk about the Bluejay Banter Golf Tournament. It's coming up quickly. It is going to be on July 27th. That's Saturday, July 27th, 8 a.m. We're going to play at Dodge Park Riverside, right across the river here from Let It Fly, right by Harrah's Casino. Fabulous golf course, fabulous place to have the golf tourney. And in a second here, you're going to see a QR code. We have very, very, very limited spots. I think as of when I sat down here, we had 3 spots left. This is our biggest and best tourney ever. There's the QR code. You can just, if you're watching on your phone, just take a picture of it, come back later and scan it. And they'll give you all the information to sign up. We have well over $12,000 worth of prizes. We have a whole prize on every hole. We have tons of raffle items featuring the 2 grand prize items, the $200 to Topgolf, and then the $600 driver that we give away every year. Tons of silent auction items, tons of trips. We have, on 2 different holes, we have a 7-day resort stay and a 5-day cruise, both for different things on 2 different holes out there. We have tons of silent auction, tons of memorabilia. I've got tons of stuff with Doug McDermott's autograph on it, which I've got a one-of-a-kind item that I don't think you'll find anywhere else with his signature. I've got a picture of Kyle Cover turning off the lights at the Civic Center. We've got so many cool things and a lot of items you're used to, and then we have a fair amount of women that play in the tournament too, and we have a lot of women's items, a lot of gift baskets, some wine items, and so forth. By the way, after the golf tournament this year, we're coming right back down here to Let It Fly. The bar's going to be closed for a couple hours. We'll have exclusivity to the bar, and we were just setting it up today with some of the staff here, how we're going to set up. And I think you're going to love the setup. It's going to be a lot of room for you to be able to come up, buy more raffle tickets, bid on those silent auction items, and also have a fantastic meal by Let It Fly. You know how great the food is here and the great service. You're going to have tons of beverage options as well. It'll be a cash bar. Soft drinks will be free. And then we'll give away obviously announce the whole prize winners as well as the winners of the golf tournament. And if that isn't enough, then we're going to have assistant coach Steve Murfeld here give a brief talk about the team, and he will be more than happy to answer some questions for you as well. So that's all July 27th, 8 a.m. Check out that QR code that we showed you a minute ago, or you can go to Perfect Golf/Bluejay Banter, and you'll find the link to the site. Like I said, there's only 3 or 4 spots left, so you've got to get in on it. The tournament's only, 12 days away, so hurry up and sign up today before they're all gone. Again, a little note about BluejayBanter.com. It's the Creighton Rivals site. Fantastic message board. Been great all summer long. All kinds of great, interesting topics and so forth. Especially as we get into August, that's when we start checking out different topics like, all right, we look back on past Creighton teams and kind of ranking Creighton teams and doing a lot of fun stuff like that. And as well as looking, people like to project their starting lineups and their second team and so forth. And just a lot of great discussion about the basketball. And then also you're going to get inside information once practice kicks in, as well as other sports. We've got a great fall session of volleyball and soccer coming up. So check it out, bluejaybanter.com. Go there today and sign up today. And then, if that's not enough, I'm excited for next week's show. Ross should be back. I'm going to come straight from Ross's old course. I got an event over at the field club, so I'll be heading over here right after that. But our athletic director, Marcus Blossom, there's been some rumblings lately about Marcus. None of them true, but we're going to have Marcus join us next week, and we will discuss everything. We'll discuss the volleyball program, the men's basketball, the women's basketball program, the challenges he sees moving forward with NIL, with the NCAA. We'll talk some NCAA tournament things with him, how the talk about the expansion of the NCAA tournament, what could happen. And we're also going to talk about the economic side. I think a lot of times fans just go, well, just pay this coach this much or this much. Well, there's an economic part to that as well. And, he's kind of the CEO of the athletic department. And not only does he have to, make sure the teams win, he's got to make sure everything is profitable. And so it's a tough job. And sometimes I don't think fans realize how tough a job he has or athletic directors have to make everything go. And Marcus has done a fantastic job. If you look at if you look at the teams when he came here to, it's tough taking over for the guy, Bruce Rasmussen, right? And the teams have just carried on from where Ras had them to now. And some sports have even improved, and then obviously recently the baseball hire. So it's a very, very, very exciting time at Creighton as we get closer to kicking off the fall sports year, and we kick off our first show here on Bluejay Banter. But again, sign up for that golf tournament. We want to thank Shaun so much. He's a great guy, running him all the time, and we were hoping he would be at the golf tournament too, but he's got a tournament. He's got to get some bread, win some money, get some bread on the table for himself. So good for Shaun. We want to wish him the best of luck. We mentioned Nate Vance earlier. If you just go to PGA Tour America's Tour, you can kind of see the events, when he plays and how he did and so forth, if you want to follow along with that. Thanks, Val, our producer. Thanks to you for watching. Make sure you hit that subscribe and like button. It helps us out so much. We've got so much planned for you this year. I can't even begin to tell you. It's going to be a very, very exciting year. We love having the place here at Let It Fly for our shows during the year, and obviously our post-game shows, which have just been going through the roof on YouTube. So check them all out. Thanks so much. We'll see you next week.